Looking at the officials for tonight's game as a group at center ice, the referee is Art Scove, number 2, and the linesmen are Ron Hogarth, number 35, and Leon Stickle, number 30. And goalkeepers tonight for the Chicago Blackhawks, number 35, Tony Esposito. And for the Toronto Maple Leafs, number 1, Jacques Plante. Stan Mikita, 21 at center. Dennis Hull, number 10 on the left side, and number 20 is Cliff Coral. Magnuson is 3, Garrett is 4, and Monahan, 20 of the Leafs, comes out. He's got McMillan, 12, and Keon, 14, the three of them. Over the line for Monahan. Monahan takes his shot. It's right for the net. And Keon tried to deflect it into the goal as Esposito lost sight of it.
Take another look at that one. Gary Monahan with a sharp shot off that left wing, picking up the pass, and there's the shot. Esposito taking it on his arm and then losing sight of the puck as he looked behind the net. And Keon coming in, and just at the last moment, puck being checked away by Keith Magnuson.
Magnuson, back of the Hawk goal, Keon after him. Magnuson still in possession. Shot it for Makita, comes out to Coral. Coral over the blue line, over at center. And he shot the puck into the Leaf zone. Plante easily handling it to McMillan. Bill McMillan for Gary Monahan. Back to McMillan. McMillan at center with Keon. A long shot wide of the net. Dennis Hull shot it up for Stan Mikita. Bond stopped him. Gary Monahan shoots the puck back into the Hawk zone. Magnuson back of the goal. Shot it into the corner. Jarrett ahead to Stan Mikita. Mikita up at center. He shot it through. Plante stopped it. Monahan back for it. Makita checked him. Makita trying to center it. He did. There's a shot. Plante stopped that. Garrett takes a shot that's weak. Keon, a pass intercepted as Ellis nearly got loose. Jarrett shoots it right back in again. Bob Bond after it. Bond for Ellis. Stopped by Dennis Hull, and he skates back at center. A pass for Chico Mackey. Stopped by Monahan, and he shot it into the crowd on a deflection.
We're ready with the Atlas Winter Grip Safe from as low as $17.88 for the 650-13 Blackwall at participating Esso dealers now.
Pitt Martin at center ice with Mackey and Bobby Hull on the wings, and we have White and Stapleton on the defense facing Ullman, Henderson at Ellis, Selwood and Dory. White gives it to Stapleton at center. His pass for Martin. Puck drive, Plante, tipping it over to Ellis. Ellis off the boards for Jim Dory. Dory covered by Bobby Hull. He knocks Hull down. Going to be a penalty here. A holding penalty to Jim Dory.
Clean as a whistle. I bet you're happy with all this hot water.
Not half, Mr. Sherlock. Where does it all come from?
There's no water heater, my dear. One day, when you have a family with lots of washing and showers, you'll need an Esso water heater, too.
I say, Holmes, I'm sure his lordship's glad he rented one, eh?
Not half, Watson. A tap delivering 78 gallons every hour can be left running forever.
How does it do it?
Esso water heater's very fast, my dear, so it can't let you down.
Jim Dory, a holding penalty at 1:46. The Leafs are shorthanded. There's no score in this hockey game. Pat Stapleton. Off the boards it goes to under Lacroix. Lacroix takes a look. Bond watches him. It's up in front for Bobby Hull. A shot. Oh, and Jack Plante stopped that quick wrist shot by Bobby Hull.
Bobby Hull taking that pass as Andy Lacroix set him up in the middle, and he got his puck on it, and that caught Jacques Plante high just below the face mask, and a good save by Plante. Very alert.
18:04 remaining in the first period. There's no score. Hawks with the advantage as the Leafs shoot it down the ice. Ricky Lee. Pat Stapleton going back for it. Mike Pellick is out there with Dennis Duperi. Bond and Lee. Stapleton leading a five-man rush. A long shot off the board. Plante came out of the net, knocked it into the corner, tripped it up for Pellick. Pellick holding it with his skate, lost it. It's Pitt Martin to Lacroix. Lacroix back to Stapleton. Stapleton off the boards to Lacroix again. Andre Lacroix trying to come from the side, and he passed to the hit Bond stick. Lacroix again over to Stapleton. A shot, that's deflected wide. Plante letting it loose. Sent it out in front for Bobby Hull. Is too well covered. Dennis Perry couldn't get away. Pollock does up the center, and he's checked by Lacroix. Lacroix given a shove, but has possession. Dropping it back to Bobby Hull. Here comes Bobby Hull. And he couldn't get it over the line. Mackey will try his luck. Back to Hull. Hull chased back by Pollock. Bobby Hull over to Pittmighton. Mighton coming in on the right side. Passed it in front. Dennis Perry lost possession. Ball went after Lacroix. Down goes Lacroix. The puck is loose. Nico Mackey centers at the staple, and here's his shot, and that's wide. 19 seconds left in the penalty as Bobby Hull hits one off Pellet. Out to center. Stapleton a long shot. Kloss got that. Flipping it up for Mike Pellet. He shot it, but not out. Bobby Hull takes a look, lets his shot go. Kloss stopped that. It's against the board. Pittmighton getting it to Hull. And he's stopped by Dory. Dory with Sittler. Sittler over the line. Takes his shot, and that's wide. Sittler was knocked down. Bobby Hull coming out of his own zone. Clearing it to Stapleton. Stapleton was stopped by Trottier. Pollock leads the ice. Brad Selwood. To Jim McKinney. Up to Darryl Sittler. For Guy Trottier. He takes a long shot. That was right on Esposito. Clearing it over to number 17, Darryl Maggs. Harrison knocked him flying. Here's Trottier with the puck. Trying to center it. There it is, hit by Harrison. Trottier's shot. Esposito's got a hold of that, and play is called. Jimmy Harrison certainly putting on an aggressive display.
Yeah, he and young Maggs ran together there, and Maggs found out that Harrison's a pretty tough customer. But that was a nice move by Guy Trottier coming out from behind the net, and he forced Tony Esposito a pretty good save.
There's no score in this first period. Pat Stapleton, number 12, gets it out on the left wing. Ryan Campbell, he hit O'Shea. White shoots the puck in. Selwood back for it. Selwood to Harrison. Harrison to Trottier. Trottier over to Dory. Back for Trottier behind him. Offside from inside the blue line over the red line at center.
And number 2, Bill White.
And you think that he and Dale Rolfe are playing for Los Angeles, you wonder.
That's one of Jack Kent Cook's good bargains there, and Chicago are very fortunate to get a hockey player of Bill White's caliber. He's probably teaming up with Pat Stable, and he gives them one of the best, if not the best, defense in the National Hockey League.
Harrison against Brian Campbell. Maggs is 17, and O'Shea is number 11 for the Hawks. Jim Dory straight up at center. Got the puck over the line. Sittler got the puck and then was checked by Campbell, who came from nowhere to cover him. Then Sittler stole the puck again. Then White covers up for the Hawks, getting it to the blue line. Maggs missed a body check from Dory. White has possession. White with a pass for Campbell. Clark came out of the net, flipped it into the corner. Back of the goal for Dory. Dory straight down the ice to Harrison. Harrison flicks it in. Esposito shoots it around on the boards. Comes for Dory. Dory took a whack at it. Sittler tries to help him out. White on a deflection off Dory ends up on Campbell's stick. Campbell over the blue line with O'Shea. Took his shot wide of the net. White moves up with a hard shot. That's off the target. And it rebounds out to center ice. McMillan just failed to get loose. McMillan has possession. Shot it to the Hawk line, and the two teams are changing while the play is in progress. Stan Mikita trying to go around Dory. Dory flipped it over to the wing. McMillan trying to shove at Dennis Hull. And it's Keon getting it out to center. Bill White, a long shot off the target. Dennis Hull let one fly. Then Keon in possession.
Chicago penalty to number 3, Magnuson. 2 minutes for interference. The time 7:01.
Magnuson has a interference penalty at 7:01. We have 12:59 remaining in the first period. There's no score. Here it goes back to McKinney. A shot right in front of the net. A drive. Hit the post. Dave Keon back at his blue line. With Elman. Ellis takes the pass. Goes around Jarrett. Lost possession of the puck to Bobby Hull. Bobby Hull trying to get away from Elman. Shot it out to center ice. Keon to McKinney. McKinney with Elman. Outside is Henderson. And the face-off will be outside the Chicago blue line.
Number 18, Jim McKinney, made a great move with that blue line. The only trouble is his right wing, Ron Ellis, had hopped in ahead of him about a stride. But a nice move by McKinney.
Keith Magnuson has 1 minute and 32 seconds left in his penalty. There's no score in the game. We have 12:31 remaining in the first period. Eric Nestorenko, number 15, out there now for the Hawks, with Luan Gotti, White, and Jarrett. Jim McKinney trying to get around. White, he does. He gets his shot away. Keon looked for a rebound, but there wasn't one. Nestorenko clearing it, but not out. Henderson trying to hold it in. It's along the blue line. Finally, Elman digs it out to McKinney, who's lost his glove. McKinney to Keon. Over for Henderson. Henderson let his shot go. That's wide. Ellis dropping it to Elman. Elman trying to get in front. Shot it over for Keon. Broken up by Nestorenko. Nestorenko gets it down the ice. And it's Elman going back for it. Elman, Ellis, Keon, and Henderson. Straight up the ice at center. A pass for Keon for Henderson. And that was broken up at the blue line. Now then Ellis will try his luck. He gets over the line. Too well covered by Angotti, and Angotti shoots it down the ice. And the checking of the Hawks has been letter perfect here in this first period, as they have kept at least so many real threatening chances. Angotti's got it again for the Hawks. He finds an opening and shoots it down the ice. There's only 8 seconds left in Magnuson's penalty. Rick Lee coming down over the blue line at center. A pass for Monahan. Monahan stops. Shot it for Ullman. Ullman got it right back to Vaughn. Vaughn shoots right in front. Ullman trying to get a whack at it, and it was shot down the ice by the Hawks. But it touched the Leaf player on the way down, so there's no icing on the play. 10:42 remaining in the first period. No score. And the Hawks are back at full strength. Donnie Marshall out there now for the Leafs. Bobby Hull in possession. Trying to go around McMillan. Shot the puck into the corner. It goes deflecting the Plot. Monahan back of the net. Shot it around for McMillan. McMillan and Pitt-Martin. McMillan checked by Mackey. Mackey for Bobby Hull. It ends up on Rick Lee's stick. Then for Donnie Marshall. Marshall up at center. Pitt-Martin spun him around. Martin then a pass for Hull, intercepted by Lee. And the play is a little scrambly here with the checking so close. Monahan to McMillan. McMillan up at center. His pass hit Magnuson's skate, and he goes back to cover. Magnuson pulled away from McMillan and Marshall. Here's a 4-man rush to Bobby Hull. Trying to go around Vaughn. Vaughn grabs him. And there's going to be a penalty there to Bob Vaughn. This game is coming to you from Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto.
Today's hydraulic systems are designed to do a powerhouse of a job. So Esso has designed one powerhouse of an oil, Esso Hydrol, the only oil specifically formulated to transmit power in today's farm hydraulic systems. Esso made it to perform at high and low temperatures, to resist corrosion and provide the protection your hydraulic pumps require. Esso Hydrol, the powerhouse. You can count on a great deal from your Esso agent.
Bob Vaughn serving a holding penalty at 10:21 of this first period. Puck comes back to Pat Stapleton. Stapleton takes a look. and he was checked by Dennis DuPerry, who shot the puck down the ice. DuPerry is out there with Pellick, Dory, and Selwood. Bobby Hull then to Pitt Martin. Martin up at center over the red line. He just shot it in. Dennis DuPerry deflected it near his own net. Then he shoots it off the boards. It was knocked out. Stapleton waits, clears it over to under the claw, but Pitt Martin couldn't get out in time. Neither could Chico Mackey. Nine minutes and 12 seconds. Look at the out-of-town scoreboard. Montreal all tied up there. 1-1 with Minnesota. Vancouver over Boston 1-0. And it's Detroit leading Philadelphia 3-1. All in the first period. Bobby Hull to Pat Stapleton to Pitt Martin. Martin over the red line to the Leaf blue line. Shot it in under the claw. Went after it. Liz DePerry's there first. Left it there. The claw centered it. It's directed near Klein. It was knocked down with a glove. And play is called.
Andy, the claw broke in there pretty well on DuPerry, and a deflection there. And there's the claw. There's the stop by Plot. And here again, he did the same thing as Esposito did at the other end. He lost sight of it for a moment, but the whistle had blown just before the play here, but he still dragged that foot. But you know, that's that trouble, those masks, the goalkeeper's losing sight of it.
Jim Dory shoots the puck down the ice. There's a minute and 8 seconds left in the penalty to Braun. Stapleton leaving it for Bobby Hull. There he goes. Pitt Martin on his left. Mackey on the right to the Leaf defense. Tried to go around Dory. Goes into the boards with Pellick. Pitt Martin nearly bumped into Lacroix. Martin still has it. He's checked by Dennis DuPerry. And Mike Pellick to Dennis DuPerry, and DuPerry makes sure of it by getting it out and down the ice. Stapleton turns around again, though. Over to Mackey. Mackey coming to the Leaf blue line, and over. He falls, and the puck was cleared by Selwood down the ice. Leafs getting a change of their defense corps now as Lee and McKinney are out there together. Keon and Monahan. Stan Mikita out for the Hawks. A long pass under the claw, wider than net. It's Mikita centering it on off the boards. Stapleton lets one go. McKinney knocked that down. It goes to Stapleton again. Lacroix trying to center it, and he shot it between Stapleton and Bobby Hull down the ice. Vaughn is on. Bobby Hull at his own blue line, shot it off the glass. Monahan covers Stan Mikita. Rick Lee for Monahan off his skate. Then Coral tried to get loose. Rick Lee has possession. A pass for Trottier over the line to Harrison, and he shot it way wide. Doug Jarrett to Dennis Hull. Trottier covered him. The puck slid to center ice. Jim McKinney shoots it right back into the corner. Came out in front along the boards to Magnuson, to Coral to Mikita. Mikita centered up over the line. Here's the shot. It hit Braun. The rebound is taken by Darryl Sittler. And, of course, as it was deflected back into the Leaf zone, Coral hitting it with his stick on the way out causes an offside.
This coming Wednesday, the Pittsburgh Penguins will be here at the Gardens against the Leafs in a game brought to you in part by Imperial Oil and Esso dealers, agents, and distributors.
Bob Braun falls along the boards. Shot it out and down the ice to recover, and it's Magnuson back for it with 6:43 remaining in this first period of close hockey. Here's a chance for Dennis Hull breaking over the line, but again, Cole nullified that rush by stepping over the blue line. You'd almost think they were in a playoff here.
They're playing an awful lot of hockey in center ice.
Jimmy Harrison with Darryl Sittler. A long shot by Harrison. Missed the target. The rebound for Trottier. Couldn't get to it. Sittler in the corner. Trying to get it back to Trottier. And they hold it against the boards, and there's no further play. No score between the Blackhawks and the Toronto Maple Leafs in this first period. We've had 3 penalties, 2 to the Leafs and 1 to the Blackhawks. Dennis Ho in possession to Keith Magnuson, back of the net. Over to Jarrett. Jarrett's return for Makita, broke it up by Jimmy Harrison. Harrison coming up to the hot line, shot it in, was given a bump by Cole. Jarrett, a long pass to center, went between Bond and Lee, and out of the net comes Jacques Clark. It goes to the corner. Cole and Makita. Makita centering it. Dennis Ho has possession, took a long shot by Bond in the corner, trying to get by Makita. It's centered right after Harris, so he gives it to Sittler. Over to Trutcher. Back to Sittler to Harrison. Harrison stopped, took a shot, and he missed the net. Here's Trutcher coming from the side. Darryl Sittler, a backhand, right on. And it's picked up by Tony Esposito.
We're going to cover a bottomless bowl to show how Stretch and Seal stretches to grip the rim and seal tight. How tight a seal? A seal tight enough to hold the munch and the crunch of all good things worth keeping. Look how it holds. Stretch and Seal. It stretches to grip the rim and seal tight. Try Stretch and Seal. You'll find the idea holds tight.
5 minutes and 23 seconds remaining in the first period as Jim McKinney's shot. That seemed to hit O'Shea. Here's Ullman in front of the net, trying to get it over to Ellis, and it's shot by Pellick down the ice. McKinney, Brian Campbell nearly got it loose. Now then Henderson nearly had Ellis loose, and Ellis shot the puck around on the glass. It's behind the net. Esposito to Bill White. It's broken up. Here's Ullman in the Henderson. Comes around on the board. Pellick covered his man. Then Henderson knocked it back to McKinney. Up for Ullman. And his shot for Ellis. Stapleton. It hit Ellis. Ullman trying to center it. Gets it out in front. Broken up by White. White for Campbell. Campbell is dumped by Ellis. Going to be a penalty here with the Leafs are tripping. Henderson has the puck. Play is called Ellis.
We're ready with 3 quality Atlas snow tires, now on sale from as low as $17.88. Right now at participating SO dealers.
Penalty to number 6, Ellis. 2 minutes for tripping. The time, 15:42.
Our first intermission tonight features the highlights of last Wednesday's Detroit at Montreal game. Dave Hodge will have a Hockey Canada question for guest Stan Makita, and analyst Bob Goldham will be along with the highlights of this period.
Ron Ellis picks up his first penalty of the season, and is for tripping at 15:42 with 4 minutes and 18 seconds remaining in the first period. That's the 4th penalty of the game and the 3rd to the Leafs. And there's no score in the hockey game. Jim Dorey shot it down the ice. Esposito stopped it. Pat Stapleton. Coming up to his own blue line, up at center. Pass over for Bobby Hull, cutting in the left wing. Couldn't get his shot away. Dennis Terry cleared it for Mike Pellick. Then Hull and Pellick bumped together. And it's cleared out to center ice. Stapleton for Andre Lacroix. Lacroix to the Leaf blue line. Dropped it back. Dorey and Pellick get it out. Stapleton takes a look again to Martin. Martin over the line, and he's checked, and the puck is knocked back up the center. This is certainly not the regular power play for the Hawks at this time anyway. Dorey wrapped it to the blue line, but not out. A long shot knocked down by Brad Selwood. Selwood a clearing pass to Monahan. Pushing down the road. Esposito came way out of the net to check him. Pitt Martin up at center with Mackey. Over the line. closing in. Hit Martin for Andre Lacroix. Back of the net. Centered it. Let's stop. Stopped by Jacques Plante. There's no right on. The puck is not over that red line.
We'll get a chance to look at that again. And Jacques Plante come across there as Lacroix dumped it out. Chico Mackey standing right on the crease, and I don't know how he kept that out, but he just came across there with that bottom leg of his. Brad Selwood coming in and getting Chico Mackey and dumping him over Jacques Plante, but Plante certainly moved beautifully on that play. The Hawks argued a little bit that it was over the line, but the red light never did come on.
No score in this first period with 2 minutes and 54 seconds to go, and Ellis has 36 seconds left in his penalty. So Stan Mikita comes out on the power play, and as a rule, he's usually out there. I guess because of the game with Buffalo, they're giving him a rest tonight. Comes back to the blue line. Knocked off the boards again. And as Hull tried to center it, Bond broke that up, and Keon finds an opening and shoots the puck down the ice. Bobby held back for it. Dropping it to Dennis Hull. Dennis Hull at his own blue line, over center. Just shoots it in off the boards. Plante stopped it, slipped into the corner. Rick Lee cleared it, but not out. Here's Bobby Hull's shot, and that was a great save, and Keon's going down the right wing with Monahan. Monahan waits. Keon lets one go as Esposito stopped that. Dennis Hull in his own zone as the Leafs are back at full strength. Monahan skates Pearl off. Lee had it knocked by his skates. Monahan back for it. Gary Monahan. Over the blue line to center. Nikita has him covered. Nikita knocks him down, but he hooks the puck into the Hawk zone. Keon after it. Keon, a back pass, goes behind the net. Stan Mikita comes up with it. McMillan had a piece of him. Cole comes to center for Dennis Hull. Bob Bond stopped that. Here's Cole closing right in, and Josh Clark stopped that one. Bond to Keon with Sittler. The pass for Sittler was too far. Magnuson off the boards, hands it to Keon. Sittler tried to get it back to him. He did. Keon centered it out in front, and Nesterenko intercepts. Nesterenko shoots it out to center ice. McMillan then intercepted a pass intended for Lou Angotti. Angotti's got it now for Chicago.
Last minute of play in this period.
He was given a heavy jolt by Braun. Sittler couldn't get to it. Then Harrison does and shoots it into the Chicago zone. Esposito carrying it around on the boards. Daryl Sittler stopped it and fanned on his first try. Lets another one go that Magnuson blocked, and Nesterenko feeds Angotti. Angotti over center. Flips the puck into the Hawk zone. Danny O'Shea with Plante way out of his net. He's over, and he held it for a faceoff. Jacques Plante doing a lot of skating in this first period. 32 seconds left, and there's no score. There's the time remaining on the sports timer here at Maple Leaf Gardens. Anderson, Ullman, and Ellis come out with McKinney and Pellick. Angotti, Nesterenko, Danny O'Shea, Jarrett, and Magnuson. Angotti flipping it. Jimmy McKinney goes back of the net. Now he pulls away. Here he comes to his own blue line up at center. Over the red line, over the blue line, trying to cut in, centered it for Ullman, and Angotti was right there to cover. Angotti then checked by Ullman, trying to kick it loose. Henderson trying to dig it out. It goes to Ullman. Ullman back to Pellick. His shot hit Nesterenko. It goes sliding down the ice. 1 second left. Plante leaves it there for Pellick, and there goes the bell to end the first period. From Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, Hockey Night in Canada.
Welcome back to Hockey Night in Canada. No score at the end of the first period between the Blackhawks and the Maple Leafs. In our first intermission, Stan Mikita will visit and answer a Hockey Canada coaching question. Jack Dennett has other NHL scores, and our analyst is Bob Golden. Wednesday in Montreal, the Canadiens played Detroit, and it was a big night for the Hab defensemen. Here's Jack Dennett with our Game of the Week highlights.
It doesn't sound very nice to say that on occasion the Montreal Canadiens' defensive unit can become terribly offensive, but such was the case last Wednesday when Montreal trimmed the Red Wings 4-2. And there's the first goal of the game being scored by J.C. Tremblay, the first of 2 goals. A very neat effort where he just deked Daly, pulled him aside, and slipped it in behind him. Big Pierre Bouchard then scored the first goal of his NHL career as he fired a backhand drive into the Red Wing net from well out of the blue line. This was an unassisted effort. There's the backhand, and it's in behind Daly. Detroit got onto the score sheet about 2 minutes from the end of that period when Red Berenson fed a pass to Vollmer, who then beat Ken Dryden. This goal came at 16:42, and here's big number 27 firing a right-hand shot from the left-hand side, and it just goes over Dryden's arm. We'll see that again from a little different angle. Dryden can only wave at shots like that. And he missed it. Slightly more than a minute later, Berenson evened things up by scoring his 9th goal of the year from Collins and Stackhouse. And this was one of the few goals of the evening where there was a lot of crowding around the net before it finally went in. 46 seconds later, Tremblay closed out the period by putting the Montrealers ahead again with assists going to Frank Mahovlich and Jacques Lemaire. Tremblay had himself quite a night. There's the pass from Mahovlich. J.C. picks it up and shoots immediately with a wrist shot. The only third period scoring served to reinforce the Montreal lead. Lanky Pete Mahovlich getting his 7th from Tremblay and Lemaire, and he sure fired that one home. And the final score was Montreal 4, Detroit 2.
And that's a night to remember for Pierre Bouchard and his large forum following. Stan Mikita visits us as Hockey Night in Canada continues in just a moment.
When it comes to snow tracks, nobody knows more than this man. But it took his grandson to show him snow tracks he didn't know. Snow Track Snowmobile Engine Oils, the performance snowmobile oils from Esso. Esso 20-to-1 Snow Track. And Esso 40-to-1 Snow Track Extra, an engine oil that's right for your snowmobile no matter what age or model. Esso formulates Snow Track Extra to reduce carbon deposits, to cut down on spark plug fouling, to help stop pre-ignition firing. So make tracks. Insist on blue Snow Track snowmobile oils at better snowmobile dealers and at Esso stations where you get all the best from Esso research.
Now that's performance.
Stan Mikita's great National Hockey League career has been marked by 2 distinct changes. Stan, I think you'd agree, once a bad man, now a good guy, and once a scoring champion, and now I guess we could say you have a lesser role in the points department. Let's talk about the penalties first of all. Are you aware still of the Lady Byng attitude?
Well, I think so. I think when you get an image of a certain type, it never leaves you. I think, besides, I'm getting older, and I can't take that rough stuff anymore, Dave.
Now, you were in here 2 weeks ago, and a few people were mentioning that maybe the old Stan Mikita was coming back. You hit a few people and looked a little belligerent.
Well, it looked like the Leafs were going to overtake us there. Luckily, we got a tie out of it. But I'll still hit somebody if I get the chance.
Now, I said Stan Mikita's not scoring any championships yet. The Chicago Blackhawks are coming closer to winning that elusive Stanley Cup, which has been some 10 years coming. Since you have, let's say, reduced your point total, since Bobby Hull has stopped being the biggest goal scorer in the league, is there any correlation?
Well, I don't know. Billy did change our way of thinking there after the 65, 66 season when we ended up in the cellar. Or is it 66, 67, whatever it was anyway. He stressed defense more, and of course I've always tried to go both ways. Some years you happen to score a lot of points, and other years, you know, you can't hit the broadside of a barn door. But I don't think there was any radical change by anybody. I think were more conscious of defense, and that's about all. I think it's a pretty good hockey game tonight. You know, some good saves on both ends, and this is the way we like to play it.
Stan, you're the pride and joy of St. Catharines, even with all the great junior stars that have come out of that city, and this was shown in a tangible way last summer. Would you comment on that?
Yeah, I had a great day given for me. 4 fellows that formed the committee: Archie Katzman and Max Kaminsky, and Jack Aicliffe and Obie O'Brien formed the committee, and the city of St. Catharines really turned out for me and gave me a beautiful oil painting of myself, which I have now in Chicago in my home. And by the way, it was done by a fellow from Toronto here, Joe Mallon. I thank him for that too. It was a beautiful day.
Stan, let's turn to our Hockey Canada coaching question now. For Stan, it comes from a youngster who plays in the Newfoundland minor ranks.
My name is Neil Barrett. I am 12 years old. I play with the Conception Bay North All-Stars. My question is to Stan Mikita. What part of the net is better to shoot at in trying to get a goal?
Well, Neil, I would think try to go for the open side of the net where the goaltender isn't. But seriously, if you're far out and if you have a defenseman in front of you, try to let a slap shot go if you can from further out. You get a little more steam behind it and try to keep it low. And then keep going after it, hope for a rebound. If you're in close, if you got a breakaway, you could go to 4 spots, either the 2 high spots in the net or 2 low spots in the corners. This is the way I would play it, and I'll show you later on in the second period when I get a breakaway on Mr. Plant.
Okay, Stan, obviously optimistic, and if Neil, you're out there watching and Stan gets the breakaway, you'll know exactly what he's going to do. Stan, thanks very much for participating in the coaching clinic, and our thanks to Neil for his question, and to Hockey Canada, particularly interested in development and improvement of hockey skills among players and coaches. Jack Dennett is along next with other scores in the NHL here at the Gardens in Toronto. Our score at the end of the first period is Chicago 0 and Toronto 0.
Molson Canadian entertains. Great entertainment to get involved with. Good friends to share a fun evening with. And a great beer to top it all off. Who could ask for anything more?
Canadian, that's the life. Molson Canadian, that's the beer. Canadian, that's the life. Molson Canadian, that's the beer.
I guess you can't go any further than that, can you? Well, in the NHL tonight, only 2 teams have the night off, New York and the California Golden Seals, and of the 12 other clubs, 10 are already in action. It's a 5 o'clock start out on the coast in Vancouver, so that game started at virtually the same time as those in the Eastern time zone. To this point, we have quite a number of goals scored. Nothing in the Minnesota-Montreal game at the Forum. Boston has just scored to make it 1-1. Boston 1, Vancouver 1. Young Ace Bailey got that goal for Boston, and the Vancouver goal scored by Wayne Connolly from Boudria. In the Philadelphia-Detroit game, it is now Detroit 3, Philadelphia 1, and Al Carlander apparently is having a big night for the Red Wings, but a man having a bigger one is Mickey Rudman because he's got an assist on all 3 goals. Carlander got 2 goals, Alec Del Vecchio got 1. Kevin O'Shea is the only other scorer, he for Buffalo over Pittsburgh, and of course that game out on the coast in Los Angeles where the visitors are St. Louis won't be starting for quite some time. Briefly, let's have a look at the East and West standings. New York sitting well out on top with 41 points. Boston and Montreal both have 38. Toronto's next in 4th spot with 28. Detroit 21, Vancouver 20, and Buffalo 17. In the West Division, there's quite a lot wider gap. Minnesota and Chicago. Chicago, by virtue of that win on Thursday night, is now tied in top spot with Minnesota at 39 apiece. St. Louis and Pittsburgh have 23, so is California. Philadelphia 21, and Los Angeles bringing up the rear with 11 points. Next Wednesday on Hockey Night in Canada, Pittsburgh Penguins are here against the Leafs. Coming along next, the highlights of the first period with analysts Bob Golden and Dave Hodge. From Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, Hockey Night in Canada.
And now, Molson Canadian entertains. agree. Molson Canadian is the cat's whiskers. When you're lining up a party, serve Molson Canadian. Keep everybody happy. End up a great evening with good friends and a great beer. That's pure pleasure.
Canadian, that's the life. Molson Canadian, that's the beer. Canadian, that's the life. Molson Canadian, that's the beer.
Happy to have Bob Golden down from the upper reaches to serve as analyst again tonight, and though we didn't have any goals, we weren't long waiting for a scoring chance in that period.
Yes, Dave, and it's a perfect example. You know, you've heard of the goalkeepers talking about blind spots in those masks, where there are certain places where they can't see a puck. And we see a perfect example on this first one. Tony Esposito lost sight of a hard slap shot from Gary Monahan, and as we see it come up, that puck took a crazy bounce off his arm, and Dave Keon thought he had an open net, but a great diving save by Keith Magnuson. But here is that slap shot by Monahan, and we see it off Esposito's arm. Now he thinks the puck has gone behind him. He hasn't got a clue where that puck is. And as it bounces in front, Keon drops about 4 feet of that net. But Magnuson managed to get his stick on it, and we see him full length here to knock it off Keon's stick as he's going to dump it into the net. But I think this really shows that, you know, as good as those masks are, they still haven't got them perfected to a 100th degree, you know, and very fortunate for Esposito that Magnuson got over there and knocked it off Keon's stick.
And he didn't have very long to do something. He pretty well had to just swipe at the puck.
Well, you know, it's one of those plays, instantaneous reaction, and bingo, he got it away from there. On the second one, we see another good save at the other end, Jack Font, and, you know, as old as he is, I don't know how he moves as fast as he does. As he comes across Chigamaki, who's going to try and tip it in here on a little dump pass, as we see Andre Lacroix. Everybody goes for Lacroix, and Mackey's alone turning up and just try to tip it, and that right leg of Font, and I don't know how he got it out as fast as he did. He just seemed to stab it out there as Chigamaki was going to tip it into that far side, but great move by the old fellow.
But you answer a fan who's sitting at home and says, why doesn't Selwood get a penalty for cross-checking Mackey into the net?
Pretty good question. Couldn't answer that one.
There's no technical explanation for that. Like
well,
the play is stopped or anything.
Well, the whistle was blown, but the referee could cut a penalty after the whistle was blown, but I guess he didn't see that.
Bob, thank you. Now let's go up top to Bill Hewitt.
Thank you, Dave, and we're still waiting for the teams to come out in the ice for the second period. The Toronto Maple Leafs outshot the Chicago Blackhawks 11-8, although they had 3 of the 4 penalties that were handed out. Dory started off for the Leafs for holding at 1:46. Here come the Leafs now out on the ice. Magnuson followed for interference at 7:01. Rob Bond then got a holding penalty at 10:21. And then Ellis for tripping at 15:42 rounded out the penalties, and for Ronnie Ellis, that was his first penalty of the year. Neither team looked overly dangerous while they had the man advantage at any time, and the checking extremely close throughout the entire first period. Jacques Plante doing a lot of traveling around on the ice in the first period, wandering a lot out of the net. And Tony Esposito, on the other hand, on one particular occasion during the first period, came all the way out almost to the blue line to stop a play. No score between the Hawks and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Referee Art Skov calls the two teams to center ice to start the second period. The two linesmen, Ron Hogarth and Leon Stickle, and Stan Nikita will start at center ice with Cliff Coral, number 20, on the right side. Dennis Hull on the left, Keith Magnuson and Doug Jarrett, Keon McMillan, Monahan, along with Rick Lee and Bob Bone. And we're all set to go now. Keon gets the draw, back to Bond, over to Lee. Lee moves to the blue line to Bond at center. Long shot, right on. Esposito stopped that, flipped into the corner. McMillan tried to center it. Dennis Hull along the boards. Monahan traps the Hawk player Coral, but Coral comes up with it. Coral back for Magnuson. Magnuson around on the boards for Jarrett. Jarrett to Makita. Makita going down at center. over the blue line, dropped it back for Coral. He didn't expect it. He is grabbed by Magnuson, shot out to center ice. Magnuson, then a pass for Makita, then for Coral over Dennis Hull, going in alone, takes a shot. Oh, let it go, and a great save by Clark. Coral went to the boards, Dennis Hull gets in it, kicks it loose into the corner, and it's McMillan coming out of his own zone to his own blue line, up at center. Over the Hawk line. On his pass, Esposito shot it into the corner. McMillan again given a bump by Jarrett, and they hold it for a face-off. Dennis Hull was in alone. Facing off in the Hawk zone to the left. Leafs playing every man up. No score as Ellis gets in front with a backhand. And Tony Esposito caught that one with his right hand. White and Stapleton, Bobby Hull, Pitt Martin, and Mackey. Dory and Selwood on the Leaf defense. Pat Stapleton in possession. A pass. Deflects to Pitt Martin. Pitt Martin up at center over the red line. Up to the Leaf blue line and over. And he just shot it into the corner. And Dory goes back for it. Plant tipped it by him. It's centered out front. Comes all the way to the blue line and out. Pat Stapleton was shoved off the puck by Ellis. Normie Ullman coming up to the Hawk line. Clears it into the corner. Races after with White. Takes the puck off White, but Pat Stapleton's there. Stapleton fast. Brad Selwood pulled it out and shot it in again. And, of course, that's offside. 18-13 to go in the second period. There's no score between the Hawks and the Leafs.
There's Bobby Hull's big milestone. Second highest scorer all time in the NHL. Ranking behind Gordie Howe.
That's Stapleton. Up at center. A pass for Hull, broken up by Ellis. Stapleton shoots the puck into the Leaf zone. That's Selwood back of the goal. Selwood off the boards, went by, and got a piece of the stick of Pat Stapleton, so Bill White will pick it up, and there's no icing on the call. Pat Stapleton, pass for Bobby Hull. It's picked off by Mackey. Mackey at center, a long shot. Let that go over top of the net. The rebound to Ellis. Ron Ellis for Paul Henderson, broken up by Bill White. He shot it in front of the net. Brad Selwood after it. Selwood comes out with a pass to Henderson. Henderson back for Dory. Jim Dory starting down the ice over his own blue line. At center, a pass for Ullman over the line to Henderson. Henderson going in and goes. Made the save. Ullman trying to set it up again. Only to have Pitt Martin get it ahead to Mackey. Got it in over the blue line. Selwood shoved to the boards. Martin gets it loose. The back of the goal. Mackey tried to set up Bobby Hull. Pitt Martin. Brad Selwood gets his skate on it. Then up for Ellis. To Ullman. Ullman and Henderson together. Henderson couldn't keep it in. Jim Dory. To Brad Selwood. Off the boards for Ellis. Into Ullman, going in with Henderson again. Ullman tried to center it. He did, and it went by Dory, and it picked off by Chico Mackey for Bobby Hull. Hull was given a shove off the puck. Ellis. Then to Ullman. Ullman couldn't get around Pat Stapleton, and Stapleton brings it back. Henderson intercepted that one, and he couldn't get loose. Stapleton to Bobby Hull. Back to Stapleton. With Brian Campbell. Campbell had it half off the stick. Ellis gets it out to center. Harrison out there. White's pass was intercepted by Selwood. Up it goes to Sittler. Sittler up to Trutchy, over the line, back for Trutchy. Trutchy getting set. Let a shot. Trotcher's long shot. Take a look at that again as we see Darrell Sittler setting up Crotchy here. But watch Harrison in that goal mouth, because I'm pretty sure he knocked Esposito down as he steered in there. There's the collision right there. And there's no way that Esposito can get by Harrison to get back at that puck, and he was in there pretty deep, and I don't know whether he made contact with Tony or not. But a good shot by Darrell, a good setup play there by Darrell Sittler.
Toronto goal scored by number 11, Trottier. Assist number 27, Sittler, and number 3, Selwood. The time 4:20.
4:20 is the time of the goal. Trottier gets it out to center ice again. Jarrett waits. His shot hit Harrison. Harrison's going to break away. He's going in alone. Right in on goal. He saves. Oh, and Tony Esposito made a dazzling save on that one. And Mike Pellet knocked his man down. Sittler is shot right on. Esposito stopped that. Then Trottier centered it. There's going to be a penalty here. Now then Harrison gets it Magnuson.
I believe this is a continuance of that feud of the last Chicago-Toronto game in Chicago. With this last shift, we've certainly seen more body contact than we have the previous first period.
This is Hockey Night in Canada from Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto.
Molson Canadian entertains. Next time you step up to a bar, ask for a Molson Canadian. Canadian is the bright, clear refreshment people can really get together on. So entertain yourself with Molson Canadian Lager beer. It's the crowd pleaser.
2 minutes for roughing. Toronto penalty to number 7, Harrison. 2 minutes for slashing and 2 minutes for roughing. The time 4:55.
Double minor to Harrison and a single.
We get a chance to take a look at Jimmy Harrison as he broke away and that stopped that shot by Jarrett, and he went in and made a move on Esposito. Watch Esposito with that lateral movement of his. He moved beautifully to his right. Harrison making the fake here on his backhand, and he lost control of the puck as he went to take it on his backhand and throw it up. But that Esposito certainly moved across there well. I believe he might have had him cut off even had he got the puck on the end of his stick. And just shortly after that, Harrison and Magnuson became embroiled in their little scuffle. And
well, it wasn't a major attraction because they only got 2-minute minors for roughing, although there was an additional penalty for slashing. There's the score. Toronto 1, Chicago nothing. But they'll play on even terms until Magnuson returns. Harrison will serve an additional 2 minutes. 15:05 remaining in the second period as Doug Jarrett has possession for the Hawks. Jerry Korab, number 22, out for the first time in the game, playing on the defense. Martin leaving it for Mackey, over to Jarrett. Jarrett, a pass over to Korab. Korab just scoots around, back to Jarrett. Up at center ice. Hit Martin. Coming to the Leaf line, he's checked. Jarrett finally shoots it into the Leaf zone. Long taps it there for Rick Lee. Lee was checked by Mackey. Rick Lee dropping it to Monahan. Monahan for Lee to Keon. Keon up at center. Over the line. Stops. A pass over to Monahan. Back to Bond. Here's his shot right on. Good save by Esposito. Korab. Checked by Keon. Keon back to Bond. Bond hit Chico Mackey. Mackey to Jarrett. Back to Mackey up over the blue line. Here's his shot. Plot knocked that down. Bob Bond. Checked by Pitt Martin. It goes to Mackey. Trying to set up Jarrett in front. and he and Bond collided, but the puck slides out to center. 28 seconds left in Magnuson's penalty. Rick Lee. With Monahan. Pass for Monahan. Went by him. Esposito shot it off the glass. Nesterenko can't get it out. Lee is finally checked by Nesterenko. Comes out. Monahan skates him off, and Keon gets possession. Keon to Bond. Back for Lee. Now Magnuson's on the ice, and the Leafs are short-handed. Rick Lee takes a shot down the ice. Dennis Duperry comes over the board, so does Dory, Pellick, and Selwood. The Hawks with an advantage, led by Pat Stapleton, Stan Mikita, and Bobby Hull. Hull had the pass behind him. It goes to the glass. Played back here to Pat Stapleton. He's getting set to Bobby Hull. Into the corner for Angotti. Angotti couldn't control it. Pellick and Coral bump together. The puck goes to Angotti. Around for Mikita. He let it go. There's nobody there. And Dennis Duperry and Pat Stapleton. Dennis Duperry comes up with a puck. Tried to set up Dory. Comes out to Brad Selwood. Selwood just shoots it down the ice. Pat Stapleton is dumped, and here comes Bobby Hull. He gets it to Angotti. Angotti up at center to Mikita. Mikita over the line, way outside. Angotti and Coral. And Pellick stepped into Coral. 11:55 remaining in the second period. 50 seconds left in the penalty to Jimmy Harris.
As you look at Billy Ray behind that bench, Bill, and the fellow that's had great success with that Chicago team, and the oldest coach from a point of longevity with the Chicago Blackhawks in the league.
Guy Trottier has scored the only goal of the game from Sittler and Selwood at 4:20 of the second period. It's 1-0 Toronto. Duperry to Dory, up for Pellick. Too hard for Duperry. Shot off the boards, then to Dennis Hull to Stan Mikita. Mikita gets over the blue line. Had the puck at the line. Shot it into Dennis Hull. Dennis Hull to Bobby Hull, and he couldn't get a shot away. Tried to center right in front, and Josh Cross got that and holds on to it.
Number 21, Stan Mikita, who was Dave's intermission guest, and you never know he was playing with a chronic back ailment, would you?
No, certainly wouldn't. Hawks playing every man up. 30 seconds left in Harrison's penalty. Here's Bobby Hull. Takes the shot. Over to Maggs. Maggs takes his drive. Can't stop that. He's got it again and holds on to it. Stan Mikita. Quite a lesson for youngsters just to watch him get that face-off.
Well, he's deadly in those face-offs, either offensively or defensively.
11:28 remaining in the second period. There you see the number of seconds remaining in the penalty to Harrison, 23. And the Leafs have Keon, Bond, Lee, and Monahan. As Bobby Hull's shot was wide of the net. Dennis Hull took a whack at it with Bond. Then it's cleared back of the goal for Monahan. Monahan is passed over the boards by Mag. Down went Monahan. Keon wrapped it the rest of the way down the ice. And Monahan going off for a rest after that bang into the boards. Henderson comes over the boards, and now that Harrison is out there, a long pass for Dennis Hull. Dennis Hull goes after it, and he back together. The puck comes loose. Mikita knocked off the puck by Lee. Jimmy Harrison up for Keon, back for Harrison too far. Maggs is checked by Harrison. Harrison trying to get by Bobby Hull and center it. And Maggs shoots it around on the boards. Dennis Hull then for Stan Mikita. Back to Bobby Hull. Over the line. Broken up. Then Bobby Hull's got it again with a shot, and that's off for the deflection wide. It comes out past Henderson, and Keon got it right down the ice. With Ellison Henderson to Henderson. Henderson shoots, and he's shot wide. Back for Stan Mikita at center. To the leaf, flying over. Took a shot, and it was weak and wide. Lee trying to cover up back in the net. He does. Play is called, and we have 10:02 remaining in the second period as his teams were just starting to open up a little bit. This is Hockey Night in Canada from Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto.
My doctor said jogging would be good for me.
No, he's just giving you the old rubberath. Helen, we can't go on meeting like this.
My name's not Helen.
Oh, well, do you think we could go on meeting like this?
Exhaustion is just nature's way of telling you to sit down and have a Molson Golden.
Molson Golden, a good smooth ale. Do you know what you're missing?
Henderson, as you saw, skated into the circle, and so the face-off will take place again. This time Ullman gets the draw. Pellick goes to the boys and decides to hold it there. Do it all over. Trache from Sittler and Selwood, 4:20 of the second period, 1-0 Toronto. 9:59 remaining in the second period. Mike Pellick for Paul Henderson. Ullman races after it. Then Henderson picked up a loose puck. Over the line for Ullman and Ellis. Then Mike Pellick takes his shot. He just missed the target. McKinney lets one go. Ullman took a whack at it. Here's Henderson right in front. And on a shot. Danny O'Shea then up at center. Stopped by Pellick again. And Pellick shoots it off the glass into the Hawk zone. Keith Magnuson. Then for Doug Jarrett. Just shot it down the ice. Jim McKinney back for it. Over for Mike Pellick. Pellick is stopped by Campbell. Campbell for O'Shea, broken up by Ullman. Ellis, offside. Nine minutes and 10 seconds to go in the second period. Now we have a complete change of players. As Angotti comes out on the forward line, they're going to use Korab on the left wing with Nestorenko on the right side. That's quite a big line.
Well, I'll tell you, that's a new formation because Jerry Korab normally a defenseman, and this is the first time we've seen him up on the forward line.
It goes by Bill White into the hot zone. Harrison beats him to the puck. Trache comes out trying to get his shot. Darryl Sittler trying to keep it in, and White finally gets it out to center. Dory's pass back for Selwood, and he just shot it down the ice. And White goes back for it. Bill White coming out of his own zone with a pass for Angotti. Stopped by Dory. Dory's pass. Trache follows up. He gets over the line. Trache trying to get in front. That is foul. It's just off the target. Harrison and Sittler tried to combine. Nestorenko's pass for Korab. Korab has the puck in the lead zone here. Shot from the point. He shot hits Selwood. And it's Sittler now pulling away. Pass for Harrison. Harrison closing in. There's his shot. A great save by Tony Esposito. Back up for Stapleton over the line. A drop pass to Angotti. A shot. Oh, playing front but couldn't get a shot away. Bill White is right. He scored. Bill White right along the ice.
Now we see justice here for Angotti dumping that puck, and this little drop pass here from Stable, and Nestorenko on the way by, just tipping it past the open net, but he picked up his rebound in the corner, dumped out a perfect pass to Bill White, and all the time in the world as he fired that one along the ice. Jock Pont, partially screened by Dory, didn't have a
Chicago goal scored by number 2, White. Assist number 15, Nestorenko, and number 6, Angotti. The time 12:04.
Nestorenko and Angotti assisting on a perfect shot by Bill White, his second of the year, icing call against Chicago. 7 minutes and 47 seconds remaining in the second period.
The heck's bother you? No, but balls kill me. Come on, baby! What, are you talking to yourself?
No, there's a St. Bernard down there with the golden.
Here, boy.
I claim this mountain in the name of Molson Golden Ale.
Well, you can't go much higher than that.
Molson Golden. Good, smooth ale. Do you know what you're missing?
Jarrett shot the puck to center ice. The Leafs shoot it right back with Lee to Monahan. He poked it into the corner, goes after it with Magnuson. Magnuson comes up with it, getting it up to the blue line. Pitt Martin at center couldn't get anywhere. Monahan then covers his check. Martin and Lee bump together. Bob Braun for Lee, then to Keon. Keon with Monahan. Monahan back to Keon, back to Monahan. Monahan stops to McMillan. It comes to Lee. There's his shot. That missed the target. Braun lets one go, and that's stopped by Jarrett. Jarrett headmans the puck to Pitt Martin at center. He's checked by Lee. Monahan for Keon. And Magnuson broke that up to Pitt Martin. Pitt Martin centering it right in front. People might be a shot. It's right in front of the goal, and Josh Braun covers up.
Well, the game certainly opened up to the comparison of the first period.
1 week from tonight, next Saturday, December 18th, sees the return of Punch Imlach and the Buffalo Sabres to Toronto in a game brought to you in part by Molson's, brewers of Molson Golden Ale and Molson Canadian Lager Beer.
Tony Esposito has gone over to the hot bench. Get a new stick. There he is. Made a great save on Jimmy Harrison.
You know, how often have you seen it? They make a great save at one end, come right back to the other end and score. And we had a beautiful case of it that period.
So we have 6:37 left as McKinney has possession of the puck in his own zone. McKinney long pass to Henderson by him. Bill White. For Stapleton to Dennis Hull, back to Stapleton, over to White again. At center ice, Ullman. Checked by Stan Makita, who goes up over the blue line. Makita takes a look, a pass. Hank shot it wide, trying to center it. Henderson comes up with it to McKinney. McKinney straight down the ice to the hot blue line. Still has it to Henderson. For Ellis. Stapleton fell in front of that shot. Pollock then to Ullman. Trying to center it. Back of the goal for Stapleton. He shot it around. Ellis blocked it. A shot in front, knocked by Stapleton. Gets it to Makita. Makita to Dennis Hull over the line. Centered it right in front of Makita. Shot. Another try. And a good save by Plum. Now it's a chance for the Leafs. Henderson. Ellis offside. Ellis went in advance of the puck carrier, and that nullified a dangerous rush just after a close call to Leaf end.
Stan Makita at a difficult angle at that other end, but Plot coming out, cutting off the angle.
On the out-of-town scoreboard, Montreal and Minnesota are tied 1-1. Boston over Vancouver 2-1, and Philadelphia's come back to tie Detroit 3-3 in the second period. Buffalo leading Pittsburgh, of course, 2-1. Jock Braun nearly gave the puck away at the side of the net. McKinney covers up. Ahead for Ullman. Ullman is chased out of the play by Jarrett. Brian Campbell turns number 14. He shot one off the leg. Down went Coral, and it's Mike Pellick and to Ullman again with Ellis. Ellis missed the pass, but it was off Danny O'Shea's leg. Ellis trying to center it for Henderson. Brian Campbell gets it up for Coral. Coral stopped by Dory. Dory gets it out. Magnuson brings it back in again. A pass intercepted by Henderson. Then Henderson lost it. Brad Selwood over the blue line, coming up at center. His long shot. Esposito deflects that off the glass. Sittler leaves it for Trottier. Back to Sittler, trying to set up Ullman. Deep Trottier, back to Sittler. A shot! Big save by Esposito. Annie O'Shea back of the net. Stopped by Ullman. Ullman trying to center it. Keith Magnuson then to Campbell. Stopped by Brad Selwood for Trutche. Trutche shot it over the line. Darren stopped it and gave it to Magnuson. Harrison after Magnuson. Harrison jammed it in on the board. There's going to be a penalty to Harrison. Up the ice for Campbell. Campbell up over the leaf line offside. Play is called. Harrison of the Leafs will get the gate.
When friends get together, remember Molson Pleasure Pack. 12 Export Ale, 12 Canadian Lager, together in Molson Pleasure Pack.
Charging. The time 16:15.
Our second intermission tonight features our Hockey Night in Canada Hall of Fame special on the great goalies of the NHL. And, of course, Bob Goldham will have the highlights of this period.
Harrison for charging at 16:15. I don't think there's any doubt in that one.
I'll tell you, Coach Johnny McFarland of the Leafs was a little perturbed over that, and you know, he doesn't usually get too excited, but he was right over the bench yelling at referee Art Skov on that call.
We have 3 minutes and 45 seconds left in the second period. The score is tied 1-1. The Hawks with a man advantage. There's been 4 penalties in this second period, 3 to the Leafs and 1 to the Hawks. In the first period, there were 4 penalties, 3 to the Leafs and 1 to the Hawks. There's the time remaining, 3:40. A 1-1 tie as Duperry gets the draw to Dory. Dory to Duperry, up to Mike Pellick. Back it comes to Brad Selwood. Selwood a long shot. Esposito drove back. What a shot by Brad Selwood from his own blue line. It was still rising when it went over the net. Back up for Pat Stapleton. A pass for Bobby Hull, and he's checked by Dennis Duperry. Andre Lacroix, 18, overskates the puck. Dropped it back to Pat Stapleton. He shot it in. Shot clock came out of the net, flipped it off to the side. Pellick shot it off the boards down the ice. Esposito, back of the net as Dennis Duperry lost the glove. Gets another one on the way back. Over the line for Pitt Martin, and Duperry falling gets the puck down the ice, and glove is actually in the net behind Esposito. Andre Lacroix to Bobby Hull at his own blue line. The Hawks with the man advantage. Up over the blue line, Bobby Hull is covered. It's knocked out by Keon. Mackey back to Stapleton. Stapleton ahead for Bobby Hull. It hit Lee. Cleared back, but it's offside at the Maple Leaf blue line with 2:18 left and 33 seconds remain in the penalty to Jimmy Harrison. So 1-1 tie.
Number 18, Andre Lacroix, who just picked up recently in a trade with Philadelphia, and I think Billy Ray was looking for some additional strength at center ice, but tonight he's been playing left wing.
Well, of course, as you mentioned right at the beginning of the game, Jimmy Papin's out. Clock was checked. Maggs trying to center it. Bond shot it around on the boards. Bobby Hull clears it back into the corner. It goes to Makita. Makita to Maggs. Bang, still in possession. Back to Dennis Hull. Look out, there's a hard shot and a great save by Jack Clark with his left hand. A rising slap shot by Dennis Hull. Score remains 1-1. 11 seconds left in the penalty to Harrison. He's standing up at the penalty box. Keon, Monahan, Lee and Bond. Nikita, Dennis Hull, Maggs, White, and Stapleton. Dennis Hull, another shot. This time it's wide. Bill White lets one go, a weak one. Bond then up to Keon. Keon goes down the ice with Monahan. Over the line to Monahan. Monahan shoots. And Esposito stopped that. Jimmy Harrison intercepted a pass at the blue line, was dumped. Stapleton gets up slowly. Keon back to Lee. Lee at center. He shoots the puck in. It goes back of the net. Esposito stopped it there. Keon nearly intercepted that pass. Comes out to Stan Mikita. Mikita to White. Way over center to the leaf line. And stepped into him. And down he went. A pass for Henderson at center. With McMillan over the line. Henderson trying to get around Stapleton. He couldn't.
Last minute of play in this period.
Henderson for Keon outside at the Chicago blue line. With a couple of real hefty checks thrown out on the ice that time. Bond measuring Bill White with a hefty check, but you notice how quickly he bounced up. A 1-1 tie with 58 seconds remaining. Second period. Trottier and White have been the goal scorers. There was no scoring in the first period. Esterecko will face off with Ullman. To Ellis. Ellis shoots the puck into the Chicago zone. Magnuson and Jarrett go back for it. Magnuson in possession. Shot it off the glass out to center ice. Tim McKinney shooting it back again, only in doing so he shot it into the Leaf bench. Alman against Angotti. To Ellis, back to Pellick. Over to McKinney. McKinney. A long shot. Esposito stopped that. Henderson went after the loose puck. Ullman keeps it in. Tried to set up Henderson. Angotti checked by Ullman. Ullman in front for Ellis. And an goal shoot. Oh, Esposito made the save on his backhand. There's Domi Ullman stealing the puck. Ellis is out in front. He's trying to control it. He finally gets it. There's the backhand. Esposito didn't make a move. And he smothers the puck, and there's no rebound. A great play by Ullman and Esposito outguessing Ronnie Ellis. So the score remains 1-1 with 19 seconds left in the second period. Mackey, Mikita, and Bobby Hull out there now with Stapleton and White. And Mikita gets that draw. Ullman goes after it, though. Stapleton comes up with it. A pass to Mikita. Mikita in his own zone with 11 seconds. Mikita's long shot. Long played there with a scoop for some reason. It's intercepted. Now he comes over the net. McKinney goes back to the goal. There goes the bell. And the second period is over. It's a 1-1 tie for Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto.
Tomorrow
United Canada.
You play a lot of cards?
No, just the usual number, 52. What would you say to a golden?
I'd say, hi there, you good smooth ale, you. You shouldn't gamble unless you can afford to lose.
Well, if you can afford to lose, why do you have to gamble? How would you like a beverage? But I'd rather have a golden ale. But golden is a beverage. Oh, never mind. I'll have one anyway.
Is George a good card player? Are you kidding? He can't even shuffle his feet.
What's your favorite color?
Molson. What's that color? I mean Molson Golden. Oh, that's my favorite color, too.
Molson Golden, a good smooth ale. Do you know what you're missing?
Our score at the end of two periods, 1-1, as Guy Trottier put the Leafs in front, and then Bill White tied it for the Chicago Blackhawks. Jack Dennett will check in with the other NHL scores later in this second intermission, and Bob Goldham is along with his analysis and highlights of period number 2. From time to time, we bring you different Hockey Night in Canada Hall of Fame features. And tonight, we look at some of the great goalies in the NHL.
Of all the jobs in hockey, none is more dangerous and nerve-wracking than that of an NHL goaltender. During the course of a game, he'll be called upon to stop an average of 30 shots, some of them propelled at speeds of over 100 miles an hour. Sometimes the results can be brutal. Jacques Plante, hit in the face by a slap shot in 1959, decided to opt for a face mask. Today, most goaltenders use one. However, Plante was not the first netminder to wear a mask in the NHL. Clint Benedict, goaltender for the old Montreal Maroons, wore one after an injury in 1931. Because of the nature of their job, goaltenders have always been a breed apart from other players, and some appear to have been marked by tragedy. George Vezina, the man after whom the trophy was named, virtually died in the nets while playing for the Montreal Canadiens. Vezina collapsed during a game November 29, 1925, and died 6 months later from tuberculosis. Chuck Gardner, Chicago's all-star goalie of the late 20s and early 30s, died at the peak of his career from a brain hemorrhage. Frank Brimsek, Boston's Mr. Zero of the 40s, found the strain too much in the latter stages of his career with Chicago. Phil Durnan, a six-time winner of the Vezina Trophy, retired from the Canadiens in the early 50s, a victim of nerves, and his replacement, Jerry McNeil, also learned how the pressures can get to a goaltender. The late Terry Sawchuk, considered by many to be the greatest goalie of all time, was no stranger to adversity during his 20 seasons in the NHL. Yet despite numerous injuries, Sawchuk played more seasons, more games, and recorded more shutouts than any netminder in NHL history. Sawchuk won the Calder Trophy as the league's top rookie in 1950-51 when he broke in with the Detroit Red Wings. In 1951-52, he won his first Vezina Trophy with an average of 1.90 in 70 games. In 1952, he led the Wings to the Stanley Cup, allowing just 5 goals in 8 games and posting 4 shutouts. As he grew older, Sawchuk adopted the face mask and claimed it added years to his career. Terry Sawchuk, an all-star 7 times in his brilliant career. The Iron Man among NHL goalies is Glenn Hall, who played for the Chicago Blackhawks and the St. Louis Blues. Hall holds the record for most consecutive games by a goaltender, 502, plus 20 minutes of another, when he was finally forced out because of a back injury. Until Hall came along, good goaltenders didn't leave their feet any more than necessary. But his diving approach, knees spread out in D formation, stick or glove ready to block rising shots, is the best for modern-day hockey. Hall frequently threatened to retire, and now it does appear as though he has finally left the game. Roger Crozier, the former Detroit goaltender, is a man who did retire, but who made a quick comeback. Crozier gave it all up in November of 1967. Only to return to the nets a couple of months later. When netminders really do pack it up, they rarely come back to hockey in any capacity. One exception is Emo the Cat Francis, who was in the New York Ranger net some 20 years ago. Francis is now general manager and coach of the Rangers team. The Cat's influence may have helped Ed Jockerman to become the first Ranger goalie to make an all-star team in some 30 years. Davy Kerr was the last to turn that trick for New York back in 1939. Since the NHL began, the names of goaltending greats have been many and varied. Men like George Hainsworth and Tiny Thompson, Roy Waters, and Lauren Chabot, Normie Smith, Turk Broda, and Harry Lumley, Al Rollins, and the Bonnie Prince Charlie of the Rangers, Chuck Rayner, the one and only Johnny Bauer, and the irrepressible Gump Worsley, who still spurns the use of a face mask. They have been followed by a clutch of new, younger netminders, some of whom have already proved themselves under NHL fire, while others, younger still, are now in the process of proving themselves at the big league level. Old or young, past or present, goaltenders have always had one thing in common with them. Courage is the name of the game.
It's often called the toughest job in sports, and those fellas did it best. We're watching a certain Hall of Fame candidate tonight, Jacques Plante. Jack Dennett comes along with the NHL tonight, and Hockey Night in Canada will continue in just a moment.
Nice and quiet, nice and quiet. Knock, 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 knock. People coming. Glad to see you, glad to see you. Cousin Jan and husband Bob, and sister Sue and boyfriend Rob. Grandma Pat and Grandpa Pete and a couple from across the street. No one talking, not much mixing. What to do? What to do? What's he got? What's he got?
Always be ready to serve Molson Pleasure Pack. Pleasure Pack contains 12 Molson Export Ale.
Keeps on tasting great, 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 great.
And 12 Molson Canadian Lager Beer.
Beer.
Convenient and costs less.
Less. Pleasure, pack. Choice, good. Talk, sing, dance, friends.
Molson Export Ale and Molson Canadian Lager Beer. 12 of each in one Pleasure Pack. Molson Pleasure Pack, a whole pack of pleasure for everybody.
Molson Pleasure Pack.
Well, the old red light has been flicking on around the National Hockey League with some regularity since our last intermission. It is now a 2-1 game in Montreal, where the visitors are the Minnesota North Stars. Pete Mahovlich got the first Canadian goal. Bill Goldsworthy scored for Minnesota, and we understand that Montreal have just made it 2-1 a few seconds ago. In the Boston-Vancouver game, Bailey and Stanfield scored for Boston. Wayne Connolly scored the Vancouver goal. It is now 2-1 for Boston. Philadelphia 3, Detroit 3. The goals for Philadelphia by Mike Parazzo and 2 goals by Johnson. And as we mentioned in the last intermission, Carlander got 2 for Detroit, and Alec Delvecchio got 1. In the Buffalo-Pittsburgh game, Kevin O'Shea and Rick Martin scored for the Buffalo club. Pittsburgh's goals by Keith McCreary and John Stewart. And Rick Martin thus moves a little ahead in the scoring race tonight. And, of course, nothing yet in the St. Louis-Los Angeles game, which is not due to start for about an hour and a half. Now let's look at the scoring race, where Jean Rattel and the other members of his line for the New York Rangers are all close to the top. Rattel on the top with 49 points, Esposito of Boston 47, Hadfield and Gilbert next with 45 and 43, so you can imagine the number of goals and assists that have been piled up by that famous line of Gilbert, Hadfield, and Rattel. Bobby Orr is next, then Perreault, and Martin, as we mentioned, has 34 points now instead of 33. Hull has 32. Mahovlich, Ullman, and Makita all tied in the bottom rung with 29. Next Wednesday, Hockey Night in Canada returns as the Pittsburgh Penguins visit Maple Leaf Gardens, so be sure to consult your TV listings for the station and the time of that game. And then 1 week from tonight, the Buffalo Sabres return to the Gardens against the Leafs, and those should be a couple of pretty fine games. Coming up next, Bob Goldham and Dave Hodge in the highlights of the second period. And here in Maple Leaf Gardens at the end of the second period, Chicago won, the Leafs won.
I want a sharp-looking car.
I want a Connery.
I've got 4 kids.
Mercury has a way out of the new car maze with the new Mercury Montego. It's everything a car should be. Small enough to handle, but big on room and ride. The sporty 2-door MX Brougham. The slightly larger 4-door MX. Mercury Montego. We've made it to fit today's lifestyle. Ask your Mercury dealer. He'll get you out of the new car maze.
We're back with analyst Bob Goldham, and I think that second period showed us a bit of a difference in the style of play from what we saw in the first.
Well, you wouldn't know they were the same 2 clubs, Dave, because they really opened it up, and lots of great plays at both ends and some tremendous goalkeeping. But on this first one was Guy Trotier's goal. This little bump pass, but that's the way Trottier controlled that puck with his skate. He kicked it over. Maggs should have been checking him. He should have stayed with him. Now, as the shot comes up, watch the traffic in front of Esposito as he tries to see through Stapleton. Jimmy Harrison is in front of him, and the other Chicago player just moving in there. And if he can see that puck, he's a better man than I am, because he obviously didn't get it all the way as he threw out his right pad and his right glove. But he just Trottier just caught the corner inside the post, and a well set up play.
I'm going to put you on the spot again on the play in the crease. Was Harrison in there illegally?
No, I think he was in there illegally, but he managed to get out just as the puck entered the net.
Okay, that's
a good out anyway.
Okay.
on the second one, Jimmy Harrison, the breakaway. Now we see him do something here that, he'll think about all night. Instead of, he's got the puck in his forehand right here with a great place to shoot the puck. He tries to bring it on his backhand and lost it right off the end of his stick. And I know the coaches all through this league and any other league, they tell you if you get a breakaway, you should shoot the puck. And here's a perfect example for the young kids watching. You know, don't try to make that play. And not only did he take it off his forehand where he's strong, he takes it to his backhand and lost control of the puck, and an unpardonable sin. He didn't get a shot.
I thought Esposito almost invited him to make the play. He gave him that side of the net.
Well, you watched Esposito, and he had a great move, and I said at the time, great lateral move, and he really moved across, but maybe he could have stopped him, maybe not, but I still say Harrison should have shot the puck.
Okay, our next highlight, Bob.
Well, the next one is this goal by Bill White, and here's Andrade shooting it, and it was tipped away by Nestorenko, but he pursued it, got the puck out to Bill White, and we see this, and I think Font must have been screened by Bobby Bond in that because the puck went right through his pad. It didn't beat him on the outside, went through his pad. So I don't think he saw that at all. Didn't have a chance to close his leg on him. But great pursuit by Eric Nestorenko, you know, and here's a fellow who's been around the league for so long, but he still managed to come up with that loose puck and get it out in center, and we had a tie hockey game.
What might we expect in the third period?
I don't think anybody's going to take too many chances. This may wind up just the way it is, and don't bet on it because I've been wrong before.
How does this game compare or perhaps differ from the last time Chicago was in here?
I don't think it's any different at all. Neither club are willing to gamble. Great goaltending and good defensive hockey, and this is what the two clubs played last time, and this is what they played all so far tonight.
Bob Golden, thank you. From Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, Hockey Night in Canada.
Ford creates something really new in the mid-sized field, the 72 Torino, including the first Grand Torino. Completely restyled, completely re-engineered to be rugged, smooth riding, and remarkably easy to handle. Torino. Rugged because it's got a strong new frame, a frame that insulates you from road vibration and noise. Torino. A great road-holding car with a comfortable, solid ride. Torino. Smooth and stable, because it's got a new rear suspension system to reduce sway and improve handling. Torino, 9 beautiful models, everyone with more room, everyone with standard front disc brakes, everyone quiet because it's a Ford. Try Torino's new ride and handling at your Ford dealers. Torino, another better idea from Ford.
We have the teams coming out on the ice now for the third and final period. And the score tied 1-1. Shots on goal in the first period by Toronto 11, Chicago 8. In the second period by Toronto 13, by Chicago 8. 4 penalties in the first period, 3 to the Leafs and 1 to Chicago. 4 penalties in the second period, 3 to the Leafs and 1 to Chicago. Stan Mikita coming out at center ice for the Hawks. As referee Art Skov gets official recognition from behind the nets. The goal judges flashing their red lights. And we're all set to go now. Maggs has moved out on the right side with Dennis Hull on the left. Keon at center, Monahan and McMillan on the wings. Lee and Bond on the defense. Magnuson and Jarrett for the Hawks. Play underway. Jarrett to Dennis Hull. Dennis Hull over-centered. Tried to go through. Monahan tipped it out again. Magnuson shoots it in. Bond knocked it down with his glove. A pass for Keon to Monahan. Back to Keon. Into the goal. And a great play by Tony Esposito. Back out to Maggs. Over on the left wing for Dennis Hull. Over the blue line. Gets around Bond. There's a hard shot, and that went high. Picked up by Monahan. Monahan to McMillan. McMillan for Keon. Keon shoots right on. Esposito stopped that.
What's one word that describes the 1972 Mercury Comet?
Durability. Easy handling. Maintenance. Comfort. Family-sized. Practical. Large trunk.
Esposito fixing a bit of his equipment. Now he's all ready to go. Referee talking to him. Leafs are going to make a change. send out Ullman, Henderson, Ellis, Dory, and Selwood. We have a 1-1 tie going in this final period. We just started. Martin now to face off against Ullman. It came right in front of the net. Pat Stapleton brings it out. He hit Ullman, goes to Dory. For Henderson to Ullman, back to Selwood. Over to Jim Dory. Dory coming at center, a pass to Ellis. Ellis for Ullman outside. It went outside the blue line on the second try by Ellis, and of course the linesman then called it. It was all right the first time, but when he tried to lay the pass over, he drew the puck right outside the blue line. Brad Selwood shoots the puck in, back of a hot goal. Esposito left it there for Bill White. White starting out with a pass for Pitt Martin. Then to Bobby Howell. Bobby Howell up over center. To the loose line, around Ellis. He shoots. Oh, and Clark got a piece of that. Bobby Howell trying to center it. Jim Dory. It's checked by Chico Mackey. It's shot into the corner. Ron Ellis. Stopped by Bobby Howell. Howell and Chico Mackey a shot. Clark stopped that. The rebound. Dory off the board. That is going into the crowd. And the Hawks came awfully close to breaking this 1-1 deadlock.
Look at that Leaf bench with Coach Johnny McClellan standing behind Bobby Bond, Ricky Lee. And that was a great save by Jock Front as he come out on a tremendous angle, cut down that angle as Bobby Hall was going down the left boards.
On the face-off, Coral is knocked down. Ellis couldn't come up with it. Now he does. To Selwood. Selwood coming over center, and he shoots it in, and the Leafs pour in after it. Ullman's the first man in for it, but Garrett there to cover him. They knock it loose. Garrett gets his skate on it finally. Players called. Danny O'Shea had a hold of Ullman. Facing off in the hot zone to the left. Score is tied 1-1. Skating into the circle was Brian Campbell, number 14, which means another face-off. O'Shea got the draw this time to Jarrett. Jarrett to Magnuson. Magnuson back for O'Shea. Broken up by Ellis to Dory. Jim Dory for Ullman. To Ellis. Ellis closes in. Goes back in the net. Gets it back to Dory. Dory let his shot go. Magnuson knocked it down. Shot it out. Brad Selwood off the boards. Ullman couldn't get out in time. Going all the way back into the Leaf zone for an intentional offside at the blue line. Tony Esposito still having trouble with those pads of his.
They haven't been doing too badly for him because he's played pretty good hockey so far tonight.
Seems to be having trouble with the bottom strap. Now every play is underway, and Pollock to McKinney. Around it goes to Trottier. Trottier gets the puck out to center ice. Campbell goes away from Harrison. Brian Campbell over the line. Getting in set for a shot, and Clark stopped that. Jim McKinney for Jim Harrison. Broken up. Jarrett lets the high shot go up into the end Blues. Face-off will be outside the blue line. 17-11. Remaining in this hockey game. There's the score, 1-1. Luan Gotti out there now with Nestorenko and Korab. Jim McKinney. To Harrison. Harrison couldn't get away, and Gotti just shoots it in, and the Hawks are content to Forecheck the Leafs in their own zone and look for the break. Jimmy Harrison comes out. Pulls away from Angotti to center. Gets over the red line. Shot it in. It's back of the net, Esposito. And he left it there, and Angotti gets a break with White. Angotti coming up at center to Korab. Korab trying to cut in on the left wing. McKinney intercepts. Up to Harrison, to Pellick. Pellick shot the puck over the line offside as Harrison went in advance of the shot by Mike Pellick. Looking at Denitov's scoreboard, it's Minnesota and Montreal 2-2 after 2 periods. Boston leading Vancouver 4-1. In the third, Detroit has gone ahead of Philadelphia 4-3, and still a tie between Pittsburgh and Buffalo in the third period, 2-2. And it's 1-1 here as Darryl Sittler off the glass. Bill White covers up. Darryl Sittler after him. Stapleton took White's pass to Angotti. Angotti tried to break between McKinney and Pellick. Pellick grabbed a hold of him. Ends up in the corner. Angotti trying to get it back, and Mike Pellick has it. Pellick with Sittler. Pellick a long shot. A nice save by Esposito. Picked off by Bill White. Up to Jerry Korab, and his shot went to Lee. Lee right back to Korab. And Jim McKinney. For Trache, he doesn't know where it is. They try to change on the go. White moves up the center. And he shoots it in the Leaf zone, and it's stopped by Plante. Rick Lee. To Darryl Sittler with Jimmy Harrison. Harrison going over the hot line. Back for Sittler in front of the net. Picked off by Stapleton, who shot it out. Vaughn off the boards. Billy McMillan out there. Monahan and Keon out. Makita pass. It's hopping for Dennis Hall. He took a whack at it. Dennis Hall fights for it. Trying to center it. Keon gets it up at center. Makita then picks it up. For Dennis Hall, broken up by Keon, but it was offside at the blue line. 14:44 remaining.
There's Brian Glennie, who is not dressed tonight, standing in the corridor just between the two benches, and boy, he's right in that hard game watching that clock.
Rick Lee over to Bob Bond. Bond then to Lee. And to Keon, back to Lee. Coming up at center. A pass for Keon, and that was broken up. Keith Magnuson shooting it out on the left side of Dennis Hull. A long shot, gloved by Jacques Plante to Gary Monahan. Around on the boards, but not out. Magnuson getting set for a shot and hit Monahan. Monahan races after it. Esposito comes over the net. Giving a shove. Monahan has the puck. Hold it. Quickly a shot. That's knocked down. It's kept in by Monahan. Right in front to Keon. He shoots. Oh, hit the post. Keon hit the post. As he had Esposito cold. And it went right back out. Now you don't come any closer than that. Now here's that chance for the Hawks. And Dennis Hull nearly had one in the corner. Up to McMillan. McMillan at center. He's had the puck taken away from him. Magnuson. The play is called on the late whistle offside.
You want a tough little car that handles well? All new Cortina. It's tough, it rides well, and it handles like a dream. A 2-liter overhead camshaft engine, a close ratio 4-speed transmission, rack and pinion steering, power front disc brakes, all standard. See the tough little import that comes complete at Mercury and selected Ford dealers. Cortina. It's a lot more little car.
Play by Davey Keon.
on. A beautiful move by Billy McMillan to defend it here, and key on shot had Tony Esposito beaten on the short side. Hit the post and came out behind him, and the Leafs unable to get somebody in front of that net, but a fine play by Bill McMillan, and we've got a little conference going on now as Chicago has drawn a penalty.
A bench penalty, goalie, for too many men on the ice.
Well, it's not too often you'll see that happen. Just in case if somebody wasn't in the hockey game and jumped on a little too early, it's a bad time for any of the hockey, either of these teams to get a penalty.
Find out who they're going to send out there. Somebody has to come to the penalty box.
One thing we know for sure, this fellow won't be going to the penalty box because there's one reason Makita's out there, and that's for this face-off. But I believe the
guess as to who's going into the penalty box will have to be the ones around the ice.
That's right. I believe that's the argument. Somebody off the ice, and I think they're in the midst of a player change, and this is what the beef is. And it looks like Pitt Martin as he comes across the ice.
Well, the Leafs have the odd man.
Chicago penalty will be served by number 7.
Here's a shot by Ellis. For Oldman a shot. Henderson took a whack at it. And Makita got hit in the face.
That one, Tony Esposito, right off the bat, was waiting for the trainer to come out. As he went down in a real hurry, that puck must have flipped right up off Tony Esposito's pad. We get a chance to look at it again on the replay. As here's Paul Henderson getting that puck. And there's the puck coming here. Right there. Oh, and it's deflected right straight up off Henderson's stick. Caught him flush, and I would imagine while he's making his way to the bench now, maybe we'll be able to get a report on it as he's holding a bandage to the side of his face. But as soon as we get something on it, we'll pass it along. Let's hope it isn't serious enough to keep him out of this last period.
Boy, that puck just came right up.
Straight up. It looked like it was deflected, but it came directly off Paul Henderson's stick. I thought it was a rebound at college.
Bobby Hull is certainly having a lot to say to the linesman.
He wants that face-off outside the blue line because he claims Chicago had possession of the puck, but the call was made, and that's where it'll be in that.
Well, of course, it's going to work both ways, because if they let the play go, at least would have had the Hawks would have went to 2-man at disadvantage because of him being hurt. Back for Jim Dory. 1 minute and 44 seconds left in Martin's penalty. Bobby Hull went down as Dory comes back at center. He shot the puck around on the boards. Here's Henderson after it. Gets it back to Dory. Dory lets his shot go, and he hits the net. Henderson a shot. Howard Ullman a backhand. He missed the corner. Jim Dory. A pass, and Bobby Hull intercepts. To Chico Mackey. Chico Mackey for Bobby Hull, and he gets told to get to it. Goes back into the hot zone. Esposito to Jarrett. Jarrett off the boards, hit Henderson. Now then Ullman. Checked by Bobby Hull. Gets over the line. Clears it back to Jarrett. 53 seconds. And Chico Mackey shoots it back into his own zone. Henderson goes after Magnuson. Magnuson's there ahead of him. Cleared it to the blue line. Hull gets it out. And Dory passing it right to Mackey. Here's a chance for Angotti. And he's skated off by Dory again. It's back in the net for Angotti, and then Ullman gets it. Ullman Coming out of his own zone to center. Goes over the line. Joe has it. Goes back to the goal. And Gotti was checked by Henderson. Ullman gets it back to McKinney. McKinney took his shot. And that deflects wide and into the corner where Nesterenko shoots it down the ice. Back on the ice comes Pitt Martin. He fell. McKinney comes out. Leading the attack. Over the half line. Cover the clear defense. And Martin covered up. Comes out over the blue line. Rick Lee stops. Takes it over the line. And he's checked. Nesterenko coming down the right wing. Pass to Pitt Martin. Martin shot it right on. And grabbed by Jacques Plante is called. 10:57 remaining in the hockey game. A 1-1 tie.
Oh, that's a great end-to-end rush as we see Pitt Martin come down with a hard slap shot. Bobby Bond trying to block it. Jacques Plante taking high on his chest and letting that rebound out and then falling on it real quickly as Pitt Martin was coming into the rebound.
Montreal and Minnesota tied 2-2. Boston over Vancouver 4-1. But Detroit doubled the score now on Philadelphia in the final period. That's the final score, 6-3. Buffalo and Pittsburgh are tied 2-2. And it's a 1-1 tie here. Harrison, Crutcher, Lee, Sittler, and Bourne. Martin with Dennis Ho and Maggs. Now they're lining up. Sittler is going to take the face-off. It comes back to Stapleton to Dennis Ho. A shot, and Harrison fell in front of that. Jimmy Harrison around on the boards for Bond. Bond fails to get it out. Dennis Hull a long shot. Darryl Sittler trying to pull away on the left side, only to have Bill White take over for the Hawks. For Pitt Martin, Harrison was checked from behind by Maggs. Maggs gets it over to Dennis Hull and to Pitt Martin. Closing in the center.
Set up beautifully by Dennis Hall as he took that long lead pass from Darryl Maggs. And seeing Pitt Martin come into the center, just dumped it back into that open spot. Bob Bond going down to try to block it. A 2-on-1 play. And Pitt Martin getting that hard shot away, beating Jacques Plante on his glove side. Plante almost had a piece of that puck with his hand. But a nice play set up well by Dennis Hall.
Chicago goal scored by number 7, Martin. Assist number 10, Dennis Hull, and number 17, Maggs. The time, 9:34.
9:34, that's Pitt Martin's 10th of the year from Dennis Hull and Maggs. Ellie McMillan. To Pellick, then to McMillan. Over to Monahan, outside Keon.
Bill, the report from down below on Stan Mikita is that he is cut over and under his right eye, but is not serious, and we expect to be back.
Chicago 2, Toronto 1 with 10 minutes exactly remaining. Mike Pellick for Monahan. Failed to get away. Monahan trying again. Squirrel to Campbell. Stopped by Monahan. He handed it right back to Campbell. This time Campbell makes sure he gets it in the league zone. Jim McKinney to Dave Keon. Back to McKinney. McKinney got it off the goals for Keon, but that's offside.
Hockey Night in Canada returns next week with 2 fine games. On Wednesday, it's the Pittsburgh Penguins against the Leafs, while 1 week from tonight, the visitors will be the Buffalo Sabres. Those games will be brought to you in part by Ford of Canada, on behalf of your Ford and Mercury dealers.
Keon gets his shot away. There was stopped by Esposito. It's back of the net along the boards. Mike Pellick moved up. Squirrel shoved off the puck, but White makes sure of it, getting it around for Pat Stapleton. Up for O'Shea, broken up by Monahan. And Campbell, will see, picks up the loose puck. Coming in front of the shot. That will stop another shot. And Black covered the short side. McKinney. Over for Pellick. Pellick closes in. He's covered. Puck is against the boards. Cole puts it loose to White. White bumped by Monahan. McMillan trying to dig it out. It's underneath Stapleton. Play is called. 8:35 remaining.
I've had other small cars in the past, but so I kind of knew what I wanted in a car.
Former import owner Beth Diamond switched to Pinto.
As soon as I saw the Pinto, I was knocked out with it. I feel like I'm in a luxury car. I don't feel I'm in a little car. I love all the windows around me. I love the 4 on the floor. And I'm just pretty knocked out with the car.
And after 8,000 miles driving her Pinto,
I love it.
see your Ford dealer.
Lou Angotti taking Stan Mikita's place now at center between Bobby Hull and Chico Mackey. Ullman, Henderson, Ellis. Up for Jarrett, getting it out to center. Stopped by Dory to Henderson, who shot the puck into the Chicago zone. You got him! Magnuson, then to Jarrett. Up for center, stopped by Dory again to Henderson. Henderson over the line now for Ellis. Henderson trying to get Ullman set. And it's Magnuson shooting it out to center ice. Dory. Pass up to Ullman again for Henderson. Henderson stops, can't keep it in. Henderson over to Selwood. Selwood hit the linesman. But Bobby Hull comes up with it. Hull over the blue line, chased back. Bobby Hull coming up at center, gets away from Ullman. Trying to go through the fence, passed it back to Angotti, over to Magnuson. Magnuson closes in and his shot is wide. Jarrett a shot. Chico Mackey in front. Dory hands it to Angotti, and his pass is deflected out to Henderson. For Ellis, over the line. Ellis into the corner, covered there. The puck goes to Ullman, and he handed it to Bobby Hull. Hull trying to go around Selwood. Takes the shot, clock stopped that, and Dory's got it. Up to Ellis. 4 leads. Ellis shoots. A nice glove save by Esposito. Off the boards to Angotti. Out at center, Dory's got it. He shot it behind Crutchy. Angotti gets rid of it. Vaughn comes up. His long shot, partially blocked by Jarrett. Magnuson goes back. With 6 minutes and 47 seconds. Pitt Martin to Jerry Korab. Harrison bumped into him. Then Korab bumped into Ball. Harrison shoots the puck into the Chicago zone. Back of the net for Stapleton. For Nestorenko. Stopped by Sittler to Harrison. For Trotche and Sittler. Sittler gets a loose shot. Great save by Esposito. Chicago 2, Toronto 1, 6:25 left.
Tony Esposito was very sharp in that shot at Darryl Sittler as Sittler came up with a loose puck in the Chicago end from about 35 feet out, and Esposito stopped it and forced the face-off to give Chicago a chance to change the forward line. And there's Stan Mikita back.
Stan Mikita back and he gets the face-off, giving it to Bill White. Around it comes to Dennis Hull. It went out to center ice, stopped by Vaughn, who shot it right back in again. Back for it is Stapleton. Stapleton wasting time with 6:09 remaining. A long pass to center for Dennis Hall. Then for Stan Mikita. He's partially blocked. Harrison fails to get it out. Maggs was checked by Darryl Sittler. Sittler goes down his long wing. Crossing with Harrison. They get all tangled up. And it's Stan Mikita. Dropping it for Maggs. Maggs took a shot. Vaughn stopped that. Sittler up to Harrison. Harrison over the blue line, going right through. Mikita goes to the board. Play is called, and we'll have a face-off in the Chicago zone to the left.
The 72 Ford LTD is Quiet Plus. Quiet plus a unique suspension system. We've cut away part of the trunk to show you how it works. On a rough road like this one, at speeds up to 60 miles per hour, the suspension is getting plenty of action. To demonstrate the smooth ride, we placed a goldfish bowl on the seat. The LTD is absorbing the bumps so they don't come through. Ford LTD, engineered for a smooth and quiet ride. Get Quiet Plus in a 72 LTD at your Ford dealer.
Chicago 2, Toronto 1, 5:32 remaining. Hawks with Pitt Martin getting it out to center ice. A long shot by Mike Pellick is way high. Goes back up to center ice for McKinney. To Pellick. Checked by Pitt Martin. Stopped by Pellick for Keon, too far. Jarrett and Magnuson. It hits Keon. Keon races after it. Squeezed off by Magnuson. A pass to Pitt Martin. Martin goes down at center. Took a long shot into the corner. Gary Monahan. To Mike Pellick. Pellick, a long shot. Esposito stopped that. Shot off the board. Keon trying to keep it in there, but Pitt Martin gets it out for Bobby Howell over the board. It's the shot. Just off the corner. Monahan to Pellick. To McMillan. McMillan trying to control it. Went to the side of the net. Keon moved in there as well. McKinney took his shot. That was wide. Pellick lets another one go, and that's high off the glass. McKinney breaks the stick. Monahan tried to get to it. Bobby Howell coming down the ice. He let two shots go. Cross stopped that, and it goes flying up into the Blues. And we have 4 minutes left.
Now, one thing, they may say Bobby Hall's not skating as fast, but he's still shooting it just as hard.
The Pinto 3-door runabout makes shopping a breeze. And the larger back window means better visibility for easy parking. You'll love the tough little Pinto.
Our Ask the Coach feature continues on Wednesday, December 15th, with Coach Red Kelly answering your questions. So if you have any questions for Red or any other NHL coach, send along your letter to Ask the Coach, Post Office Box 1866, Montreal 101, Quebec.
All set to go. Jim Dory. A long pass for Ellis. There's right to Esposito. He took it off to the wing. Toro was given a bump by Ellis. They're trying to dig it out. Players call in a face-off. Face-off in the Hawk zone. Racer claiming a penalty when he deliberately held the puck against the board. Out-of-town scores now. It's Minnesota having a 4-2 lead over Montreal. Boston 4-1, and we have Buffalo now taking a 3-2 lead over Pittsburgh in the third. Detroit and Philadelphia, that's final. 6-3 Detroit. It's Chicago 2, Toronto 1 with 3:42 remaining. Stoll trying to get it out on the wing, and they'll have it.
There's Carl Henderson, and the nose doesn't look too bad after that shot he got on a Wednesday night and broke it. These hockey players pretty quick healers.
Jim Dory at center. Over it goes to Brad Selwood. Got the puck back of the net. Esposito left it there. White shot it along the boards to Fifth Cole. Ullman tries to dig it out, so it holds it against the boards again. We have a correction now out of Montreal. It's Minnesota and Montreal tied 3-3. They're still in the third period. Jim Dory, a long shot. Esposito deflected it. Stapleton was given a jolt by Ellis. Dennis Hull gets the puck into the Leaf zone, and it's Jim Dory with 3 minutes and 3 seconds remaining. Trying to get the puck out. It was behind Ullman. Henderson after it. Esposito's got him covered. And the Leafs being checked at every move as the Hawks lead 2-1. We'll have to keep our eye on John Crawl as whether Coach Johnny McCullough is going to make any move in that direction.
Well, with the 2:59, you know he's not going to be moving for a while, but if it gets down to that last few seconds and they get that face-off in the Chicago end, I wouldn't be at all surprised to see Jock Cron over that front of net. It's just a little bit early yet to anticipate.
Harrison with Sittler and Trottier, Bond, and Lee. Puck was pushed ahead with a glove, so do it all over again. Nikita, Dennis Hull, Nestorenko, Magnuson, and Jarrett. Harrison. Into Bob Bond. Bob Bond didn't make a play. Tries it twice. Nikita stopped him. Harrison is checked by Makita again. Then Braun covers Makita. And it's Trottier for Harrison. Harrison to Sittler. Sittler closing in into the corner. Magnuson got in front of him. Sittler got it loose, but Jarrett was right there to cover up to Dennis Hull. Dennis Hull, a hard shot. Clark stopped it. There was a rebound. Dennis Hull in possession. It hit Trottier. Guy Trottier turned. And it's nowhere near Harrison. Bond knocked it down. Now then Darryl Sittler will try his luck. Sittler over the blue line. Took a shot off Magnuson. Sittler tried to send it again, and it hit Magnuson's skate and went over the glass into the crowd. A minute and 57 seconds remaining in the game. Chicago 2, Toronto 1.
For Billy Ray on his play, sending out Danny O'Shea to take the face-off, replacing Pitt Martin.
McMillan took a shot that was wide of the Chicago goal. Bobby Hull shot it to center ice. McKinney blocks it. Over with McMillan into McKinney. McKinney shoots it, and that goes to the corner. And Chico Mackey gets rid of it down the ice. Plot is coming out with a minute and 37 seconds. McKinney back for it. McKinney handed it to Pitt Martin. Trying to set up Bobby Hull. McKinney pass intercepted by Martin over to Bobby Hull.
Beautiful play by Pitt Martin as he held it, and watched Bobby Hull drag that puck from way behind him and just flipped it up on that short side. He just managed to get a stick on it. But Pitt Martin holding that puck until he could get it through to Hull, and of all the good chances Hull's had tonight, and he gets the goal on a chance that you wouldn't really consider that dangerous.
Chicago goal scored by number 9, Bobby Hull. Assist number 7, Martin. Time 18:30.
18:30. The time of Bobby Hull's goal from Martin, his 16th of the year. A long shot by Martin off the target. Picked up by Billy McMillan. He's checked by Chico Mackey. Less than a minute to go as Martin fell. Monahan to McKinney. McKinney again having difficulty getting it out. McMillan unable to get anywhere. Here's a chance for Bill White. And Jacques Plante shoots it out to center ice. Pico Mackey then for Dennis Hall. Into the relief zone for Dennis Hall. Takes a hard shot. Plante stopped that one, and it's Mike Pellick. Off the boards for Ellis. It goes down the ice. And it's Dennis Hall with it with 24 seconds left. Long pass, intercepted by Dory. Dory shot it over for Ellis. Stapleton shoots it out again. Brad Selwood, a long shot, but it's outside Ellis. 12 seconds remaining. All set to go, and got it back to Magnuson. Got it right into Dory. Dory just shoots at the left of the ice. Esposito comes up to stop it. He flipped it out to center ice. Henderson going to take a shot, but the bell goes to end the game. In just a moment, our three-star selection.
For 1972, there are 3 series of marquee. The elegant Marquee Brome, the beautiful Marquee Deluxe, and the same mystique of prestige in this, the lowest price, 1972 Marquee. It's a car that offers much more than you imagine. Power steering, select shift automatic transmission, magnificently appointed cloth and vinyl interiors, 400 cubic inch V8, power front disc brakes, ventless side windows, high-level forced air ventilation. And beyond all this, the unmistakably elegant styling in the Lincoln Continental tradition. All this can be yours, even in the lowest priced of 3 superbly crafted models. Move up to 1972 Marquee at your Mercury dealer. Marquee, luxury that's well within your reach.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are the 3 stars of tonight's game as selected by Foster Hewitt. The first star, Tony Esposito. The second star, Bobby Howell. And the third star, Jacques Plante.
Well, Foster, apart from the result, this was almost a repeat of 2 weeks ago when Chicago and the Leafs tied at 3 apiece.
Yeah, it was a very tight hockey game. I thought the goalkeeping was outstanding, particularly in the first 2.5 periods. But that was a tough break that Plante got there right in the last when it hit Bobby Hull's skate and went into the net. But those things happen in a tight hockey game. I thought Harrison, though, played a very solid hockey game for the Leafs. He was a hard hitter. He's rough and tough, you know, but he's very effective.
Well, you know, with Jimmy Harrison, it's almost going back to the days of Ezzy. He hits hard, but he doesn't do it too subtly and often picks up penalties along the way.
That's right, but you have to have a rather tough customer like that to make them keep their heads up. And they were moving in on that defense fairly well. But Harrison and Trottier, I thought, both played very well, but they weren't quite good enough for the top bracket.
Thank you very much, Foster. Now here's Dave Hodge.
Thanks, Jack, and here's star number 1, Chicago goaltender Tony Esposito. Tony, was this a particularly tough one for you?
Well, they're all tough when you need the points, such as we do. Minnesota's leading right now against Montreal, and our team played very sound hockey the whole game. I thought we had a little trouble on the penalties, but so does every other team. But overall, I was very pleased with our team's performance.
Gary Smith played the last time the Blackhawks were in town, and how are you reacting to what might be considered a 2-goalie system in Chicago?
Oh, I don't mind at all. Whenever Billy asks me to play, I'll play. It's 2 goalies. You have to have 2 goalies in case one guy gets hurt. You have to have the other guy ready. So Gary Smith has been doing an excellent job for us. So I see no reason why we can't keep switching as we do, but like I said, whenever Billy wants me to play, I'll play.
Tony, right at the start of the game, you lost a puck, and Bob Goldham and I were commenting on perhaps a blind spot with relation to the mask. Now, what exactly happened on that play?
Well, it hit my arm, and it bounced off my arm funny, and right out in front of the net. I did lose it, maybe because the game had just started, I was a little on edge. But once our team settled down, and that was a break for me because it was a race for the puck and our defenseman won out, so this gave me a boost and the whole team a boost.
Tony, another very close call in the third period was where Keon hit the post. Did you see that one?
Yes, I see it. He beat me all the way on it. But sometimes they hit the post and they go in, and sometimes they bounce away. Fortunately for us, it bounced away instead of going in, and I'm very happy that we got the 2 points.
Hockey players often have a favorite rink to play in, but you don't often hear goaltenders say that they prefer one arena as opposed to another. Is there any rink that you like, and why would a goaltender like one rink over another?
Well, I like Chicago Stadium because it's our home rink, and I don't know what it is, but a team seems to play better at home. In our case, I think we have one of the best road teams in the league, so I did have trouble with Minnesota over the last couple of years, but the last 2 outings in Minnesota I played fairly well, and I feel okay on any rink, actually. Montreal has been very tough on us because when they get in that rink, they really skate me. I really have to be able to keep up to them.
What about bounces off boards? I would think this would be particularly difficult for a goalie, and is there any rink that might have lively boards that bother you?
Well, I don't, some rinks, the lighting bothers me. When it's got that real bright fluorescent type lighting, I don't like it, but overall, I have no qualms. I'll play in any rink anytime. It doesn't matter to me where it is.
Tony, you're looking forward to the next meeting with Phil?
Well, anytime you play Boston, you have to be really ready, and when we play them, I just hope our whole team is ready, and if we all play well, we can come out a winner. I know that.
Tony Esposito, thank you, and congratulations on being named the first star tonight. Billy Ray, the Chicago Blackhawk coach, is with us, and a penalty that Billy obviously didn't like occurred in that third period. Too many men on the ice, and fans at home probably don't know exactly how that happened. I don't know if you do, but...
Well, actually, Makita was at our bench, and Martin was out on the ice, but I would like to see a replay of that particular call. I don't think that the call should have been made, and, you know, as long as the player's within 10 feet of the bench, why, it's not supposed to be a penalty. But nevertheless, we lost an argument, and you usually lose in arguments with referees.
Billy, how is the Chicago team reacting to the great challenge you're getting from Minnesota?
Well, very, very well. We're going along at about the same pace as we did last year. It's not that we have faltered, it's just that Minnesota is going that much better. We have played very well on the road, and yet our record is not that good. Tonight's game was, I think, only our second win in 7 on the road, but we had played very well in Montreal and lost 2-1. We played well in Boston and lost 2-1. We played well in New York and lost 3-1. So overall, I'm very, very pleased with the way the players have played.
Can you see a first-place battle as perhaps doing you some good in the playoffs? In other words, last year you go away and hide in first place. This year it looks like you might have a race all the way down the line, and maybe when you hit the playoffs, you're high for them.
No, I actually, Dave, I prefer the other way. Last year, for the last month of the season, I was able to play 4 lines and give the fellows a little bit of a rest, and we got into the playoffs, and these playoffs are very, very tough today. You're not playing 2 rounds, you're playing 3 rounds, so you know, players that go in there fresh are the players that will play the best, and that's the only reason that I think we went as far as we did last year. I thought we should have won it because we played well enough to win.
Billy Ray, the coach of the Hawks, thanks and continued good luck.
Thank you, Dave.
Hockey Night in Canada continues in just a moment.
Here we have 2 happy Mercury Comet owners, one with a 1971 4-door Comet and one with a snappy little 2-door 1972 Comet. Sir, why did you decide to buy a Mercury Comet?
Because it's small, economical, and easy to handle.
Any other reasons?
Well, I can do my own maintenance.
How about the cost of repairs?
I've never had any.
How about Comet's ride?
Beautiful.
And talk about a roomy inside. Now that's comfort.
One final question. Can you tell me in one word what was the biggest single reason you bought Mercury Comet?
Reliability.
Reliability. Durability.
Easy handling.
1972 Mercury Comet. The little car with better ideas. at your Mercury dealers.
Comfort. Ride. 2-door. 4-door. Practical. Family
Just a
fun.
simple question.
Oh, no, you did not.
We're going to go to Bob Goldham now and ask you, Bob, what's the highlight of the game?
Well, Dave, the fellow that scored this goal, the winning goal, Pitt Martin, certainly played a tremendous game. I thought he was one of the best forwards that Chicago had out on the ice tonight, and he scored his second goal, but it was set up well by Dennis Hall. We're going to take a look at it now as Darryl Maggs threw it into Pitt Martin. Here's Maggs laying it in here. Dennis Hall, and he just lays it in the slot here as Pitt Martin's on a 2-and-1, and Bobby Bond trying to get down and block it, and he let go a hard slap shot, and Jacques Bond just couldn't react quite in time as he threw it by him on the glove side. He almost got it, but a little too hot to handle.
Thank you for your analysis, Bob. That's the highlight of the game, the winning goal scored by Pitt Martin. Our three stars tonight, Tony Esposito, Bobby Hull, and Jacques Plante. Shots on goal, the Leafs 37 and Chicago 30. The out-of-town scoreboard now. Montreal and the Minnesota North Stars in the third period. It is now 4-3 in favor of the Canadians. Montreal 4, Minnesota 3. Boston over Vancouver 6-1, the Bruins on a spree. A final score, Detroit 6 and Philadelphia 3. Buffalo is leading Pittsburgh by a score of 3-2, and the St. Louis-Los Angeles game has not yet started. Coming up on Hockey Night in Canada, Wednesday night, Pittsburgh Penguins against the Leafs. And 1 week from tonight, Saturday, December 18th, it'll be Buffalo against the Leafs here at the Gardens. Punch Imlach returns, and of course that big victory occurred by the Sabres the last time they were in here. Our final score tonight, Chicago Blackhawks 3 and the Toronto Maple Leafs 1. Dave Hodge for Hockey Night in Canada. Good night.
Hockey Night in Canada, brought to you by Imperial Oil and Esso dealers, agents, and distributors. Molson's, brewers of Molson Golden Ale and Molson Canadian Lager Beer. And by Ford of Canada, on behalf of your Ford and Mercury dealers. Hockey Night in Canada is protected by copyright. Unauthorized reproduction by any means, in whole or in part, is not permitted.